when it comes to the education for the autistic people, there's no systematic and ways to directly tackle the brain development of the autistic people. So basically, the brain development is left for the individuals, and some of them could kind of provoke their brain functions and then to advance to the different levels, like Dr. Temple Grandin or one of the students who graduated in I don't remember exactly, that was about 2 years ago, that CNN from the news, CNN published an article about autistic students who were graduating with honor and then giving the the speech in the graduation ceremony, and then she was not able to speak because of the mutations in the brain area where language are responsible, the area, and then but she also has autism, and she gives a speech by punching in the statement into the computer, and the computer reads aloud her speech. So basically this is what happened, and then there are some other people who are kind of connected to the world and living in a world with their own kind of development of the brain. But many of them still are staying in the kind of isolated area and cannot really advance into the higher level of the brain function. Now, PonderEd education, however, developed the strategies and the methodologies to directly tackle these kids, autistic people's brain function. But unfortunately, problem is coming from here. People with autism, they have difficulties in the communication, language, through the language. So basically what the means is that even for me, if I have them on the education, sitting them together and then giving them what to do, but for them, because of the lack of the communication, I cannot really lead them to the brain development directly. So basically my kind of the ability is limited to the condition where these people should be able to communicate freely. Then basically the prior of the steps are left for the parents and families at home. Well, if it is some of the educational system, probably then there might be another options. But since there's no educational institute came to me and then asked for the methodology or implementation of the methodology, well, there's none of the educational institute can actually do it in the entire world. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the PonderEd education's the strategy and with the basic theories of the autism, why they are autistic, what is the meaning of being autistic, and why their the education for the neurotypical people cannot be applied for the autism kids, why it doesn't work in the autism kids. Before you going through, I mean, for the further from here, I suggest you stop the video here, and then I have another video about the neurotypical people, for the neurotypical people to discussing about how brain is being developed, so process of the brain development, that video, because this is a continuum from the brain development processes. Here, first starting from 1 to 6, the levels. that I wrote here is from that video that were different levels of the brain functions. But prior to going through with this one, let's look at why autistic kids or the people with autism have differences in the thinking processes and why they cannot really getting benefit out of the current education system. Now, these people with autism, there are people who think in a little bit different way, but as Einstein said, he thought in music once in a while. So basically, I'm assuming that there are some of the people who think in music. But since my son has autism and he describes his thinking process as a picture and the kind of animation like thinking processes, and this one is the same as Dr. Temple Grandin, who addressed her thinking as she has a picture thinking processes, and several other autism people with autism that I got the information from second hand was also thinking in pictures, like animation, like virtual reality like. But one of the things is that I don't know others how their brain really images those pictures, but in case of my son, it's more likely cartoon like, and then more likely animation like pictures inside of his brain. Sometimes it is real images like real character images can show up, but mostly it is a kind of cartoon character like picture images. So what does that mean? Like a picture like or animation like image processing brain functions. That means as that is developed, as that picture thinking kind of activated, then one of the trade-off was that social skill. So basically autism, people with autism, they have picture thinking, and neurotypical people, they don't have a picture thinker, but they have what they have is a social skills. So these two are the trade-offs, meaning as the picture thinking developed, social skills suppressed, so they are not able to really engage in the social environment. Now, because of that, current education system, entire education system, not just for the autism, are focusing on level 1 and 2, which is instinct, and this is goal-oriented, as I discussed in the neurotypical people's brain development, and this is heavily based on the social skill. Now, what that means is that you learn language from others. So when you're a kid, you mix with other kids, and each different kids coming from each different family, and each different family has their own ways of describing and communicating the methodology. And what happens is that when these kids are gathered together and then play together, they mix up with those skills. And then what they do, they learn from experiences from these kids. For example, let's say this kid is having knowledge about the fishing, then you learn from the fishing. This kid has knowledge about the cooking, then you learn from the cooking. And then you are mixing up so that you increase your knowledge based on this play together with other kids. This requires social skill. Goal-oriented, also to meet the goal, you cooperate each other. To cooperate each other, you signal each other. For example, like soldiers, when they are getting into the battlefield, they communicate with the signals and some of the minimum of the language, but signals and to meet the goals, right? So these are the ones that the brain function require the social skills. And this is the one that education is really targeting at the moment. As I mentioned briefly in on the brain process of the brain development that level 3 to level 6 current education cannot handle it. There are a few people who are able to handle individually, but in the systematically, in the interior educational system, they cannot really handle it. Then, most of the education is based on the social, because this is important. Knowledge is important, and the experience is important, and the students can learn each other by communicating and interacting each other. So everything is in here. Now, for the picture thinking, people with autism, they don't have social skills, they suppress. So basically only educators can think of is having their behavior changed so that hoping to have their brain developed. This is what current autism education is kind of focusing on. But is it successful? Not really, right? Yeah. So the educational gap between autism and the current educational system is coming from here. Interior education system is focusing on the developed by the social skills, based on the social skills, but autism, people with autism, they don't really have social skills. Instead, they have picture thinking. Then, picture thinking doesn't mean that, as Dr. Grandin addressed in the TED Talk, also she wrote several books and to provide seminars, but you can go and ask her, then you will see picture thinking doesn't mean that it cannot really, that the brain cannot really develop. If picture thinking is one that inhibiting the brain development, then the Dr. Temple Grandin shouldn't be able to really be a scientist who make the revolutionary devices that changes the farming area, right? Then, how could Dr. Temple Grandin went into the science field and connected to the world? How could the students who graduated with honor and gave the speech in the graduation ceremony, then how could she was able to is able to really go through this educational system without any the issues. So eventually being valedictorian, meaning that she probably have a really highest GPA, and all these activities that she did was credited from the university, right? So basically that's what the question is. Then the thing is, the key point is that Temple Grandin's brain function, I mean the way to break out from the autism and connect it to the world is a little bit different. This is what this is addressed in her TED Talk. You can listen to her the speech. What she said is that when she was a high school student, I think, yeah, I don't know, I don't remember exactly what grade she was in. When she went into the chemistry lab, she was really amazed, surprised. All those connected reactions and how it is connected and how it is functioning was kind of have her brain shocked inside. After that, she said she was able to really going into the science field and started thinking. Could that happen to everybody? Not to my son. My son is in university right now, and until the couple of years in the university, my son said that he cannot control what images that popping inside of his brain. For example, when he sees a person, actually there was a person who riding a bicycle and fell into the ditch and got very, very seriously hurt. My son started laughing. And my son kind of hid himself from other people because he knew that other people might think that he's kind of psychopath, and because people got hurt, he was laughing. But this is the first time I found out that how his brain is functioning. When I asked him why he was laughing, he said it's not because of the person who fell in a ditch. But that is because inside of his brain, without out of his control, that images came up, which is that little the animation character riding a bike, running down from the mountain, and then he hit a rock and fell. And when he fell, now rainbow just splashed out from his body, and then it was like a kind of real rainbow covered on the other side of the around the rocks. And then because of that animation happened, he was laughing, and he said he wasn't stopped until ambulance took the person to the hospital. This is what happens inside of these people with autism. The inside the brain of the people with the autism. So picture thinking is something like this. It's not controllable in the beginning, and my son said that he wasn't able to control until first year and second, even now, that because sometimes he, without any intention, without any kind of his effort or anything, out of control, totally out of control, any images pops in when he hears any type of the kind of word, or when he sees any type of the activities or phenomenon, it automatically pops in. And now what I did was I asked him to replace it with one of the learning materials that he was getting from the school. For example, functions inside of the cells, how the transportation works, and how the chemistry, the reaction happens. And I asked him to simulate the images with those things instead of uncontrollable images. And he said in these days he was able to do those kind of simulations inside of his brain, and then as this increases, the uncontrollable popping images reduce. The number of the uncontrollable images are kind of reduced a lot. So this is a kind of way of the transitioning from the imaginary inside of the imaginary animations with the reality. So he's in the middle of the transitioning in these two processes. But somehow Dr. Grandin was able to really go through directly to the, well, I don't know if it is like the one-shot transformation or it is a gradual transformation, but Dr. Grandin's brain was able to, using the materials, the real life materials, and then replace that images that happens inside of her brain with some of the unrealistic images, like a rainbow popping up, as my son said, rainbow splash out from the body from the person who got fallen from from the bicycle or something like that. So this is what happens. So it is not usual for me that Dr. Temple Grandin's case is not usual, and it is very challenging to go through that direction, because you have to hope your child to have that brain function replaced by inside of his brain spontaneously. It's gonna be rare. But sometimes some of the kids go through current educational system without any issues, and they were doing pretty well, just like the students who graduating with the graduating from the college that I mentioned about the CNN news. Then how these people are able to do it? From my the interpretation is this: social skills level 1 and 2 is not possible, right? It's very, very challenging, and then they can mimic. They can just like they can kind of copy and paste and then do it. But because the social environment changes really fast, and each environment is different, these people with autism cannot really adapt to this environment. Then only way to go is from here to level 3 and 4, which is concept-based brain functions. So what happens is that from my interpretation is people with autism, they have brain function activated. Then which brain function is that? The knowledge, taking the knowledge and conceptualize. Knowledge, conceptualizing the knowledge and experience is very, very challenging even for the social skill people with the neurotypical people, with the social skills. Why? Because they have social skills, and this number 3 and 4 are not connected with the social skills because they are away from the knowledge and experiences. Social skills are strongly bound to the knowledge and experiences. So these people, neurotypical people, can even not advance to the level 3 and 4. And there are some people, even neurotypical, they were able to advance through to 3 and 4, and rarely 5 and 6, like Steve Jobs, and number 5, and something like that. And then number 6 is very, very rare. Well, you have to find someone like Einstein and Newton's, right? So each brain function, individual have a potential to go through each of these brain functions. Problem is that totally up to the person, individual. Now here, even with the social skills, people with the social skills, people with people with really good at in their the current educational system, they cannot go through this either. Only a few do it. And autistic people also, they have potential to go through 3, 4, 5, 6. Problem is they cannot go through 1 and 2. Then what is some of the people who were able to really connect it to the world with going through the educational system, they connected to the number 3 and 4. This is the only explanation that how they did. But there's another problem for the autistic people. Educational system is focusing on 1 and 2, and what they did is they forced this education into autistic children. And what does this do to the people with autism? They reduce the chance to go through 3, 4, or 5, 6. They kind of like block entire the brain processing system so that they can stay right here, not even 1 and 2. Not even 1 and 2. Before that, prior to that, where they cannot really communicate each other, where they cannot really socially interact with each other, they were completely isolated. And as they are being isolated, chances to go through here, to jump to 3 and 4 or 5 and 6 is completely blocked. So if you are the parents or family members or have some of the kind of autism, people with autism around you, these social skills, the first thing you have to remove from forcing autistic people. Autistic people, they can, once they develop the brains, they can go back, and instead of using the social skills, they can develop the methodology to interact with other people, communicate with other people. Okay, so they have to build communication skills instead of social skills. Social skills here, they can translate these social skills to the communication skills, but these two are totally two separate different stories. Okay, so autistic people, they are able to develop the communication skills and brain functions to be able to think in creatively or critically or the objective oriented thinking processes. They can do it. So you have to open up the paths so that they can have chances. Even every door is open, the chances are rare. Then what that means is that people still try to use this the approaches in the neurotypical people developed to their children, which will block their brain development further. Now, the PonderEd education, what the strategies we developed, the same as a neurotypical student. What we developed is having these autistic people to directly develop from level 6 brain function and systematically. And that includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, everything is in there. So basically, in the beginning, communication skills in the beginning, how to develop using the language for the autistic people, in autistic children with systematic ways, how to increase it, how to level up to the critical thinking. Everything is in one package. So first step is to have their capability entirely bring up to the surface so that they can use their full power. After that, brain development can be started. And the second part, if these people are communicable, then I can get involved in the second part. But first part, prior to the brain development processes, everything has to be done in the family, in the family level, because the brain development for the process in the beginning stage that has to be done in their everyday life. Having food and going to school and playing in the ground and then drawing some of the drawing or kind of painting. Yeah, I saw that some of the kids are painting. My son painted too. And then some activities in using the blocks or some of the toys or everything. Everything has to be done around the child's activities. So only the family members are able to really directly get involved and then have them to connected to the world so that they can start communicating. So what I'm going to do is, from that, it has been a long time for me to upload some of the videos in the YouTube channel, but now I'm going to reactivate the YouTube channel. I still have all the videos in there, and using this YouTube channel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide some of the educational tools for the autism kids. Well, and then so you can watch those the methodologies and then apply that to your kids to have them to develop. If you wanted to have some systematic way to develop the methodology for your child to develop their brains, then you have to come to the classes where I deal with the coaching sessions, which I deal with individualized the strategies that develop delivering the individualized strategies. The coaching sessions are provided in the spring and fall term. Summer term is kind of the wrapping up and then reviewing processes the students alone. So basically parents had to review the learnings and then apply that to the kids during the summer, but mostly spring and the fall term are the ones that I provide coaching sessions. Coaching classes is classes more like about 12 weeks in general, depending on the schedule, but 12 weeks in general in the fall and the spring term. And but my suggestion is that if you are not you are really thinking about to understand the autism, then I suggest that I will have the process of the brain of autism people one-on-one sessions, that language and the brain development one-on-one sessions, that the kind of class open up in this class opens up every term. So basically summer term I opens up, not this term. This term I don't open it, but starting from the fall term, September 2025, that I'm going to open that the classes, so you can start from there, because coaching sessions you cannot really advance directly to the coaching sessions. You have to have some of the understanding of these brain development processes, and together with the autism kids, specifically how you can approach with it. And then after that, coaching sessions is more likely individualized the discussions and the methodology development that's specifically for your child. So in the class, like about 5 people maximum, I will provide the ideas, and so that you can think about how to adopt that to apply to your child to develop it. So basically, autistic people have difficulties in the social skills, but for sure, but that doesn't mean that they cannot have their brains developed. So brain development, until now, there's no methodology to develop their brain. Now PonderEd providing those tools. It is your choice to use it, but my suggestion is, if you are looking for different and totally totally completely different types of the life of your child, then I suggest you keep looking into this the educational tools that we are providing. And then if you can start from the autism, the kind of ideas about the autism, using the free channel, YouTube channel, by subscribing it, and or you can participate in the class and then go through the systematic way. And either way, it is your choice. And then I will start providing autism-related educational tools in the YouTube channels, through the YouTube channels. And then these YouTube channels, I'm not going to just focus on the autism. I'm going to provide some of the tips for the neurotypical people as well. And then how the brain function affects in the lifestyle as well. So I'm going to label as autism in the first section as autism and comma and then title, and then you will see that is autism related. Then you can watch it and you can think about the tips that I provide and apply that to your child to develop your child's language skills and the brain development. And social skills, I don't deal with it. So instead of social skills, what I deal is the communication skills. And you will have to think about this. Communication skills is for the adult level. Your child will grow to be an adult, and then your child eventually independently live in the world of the adult. For the children with neurotypical children, they have social skills to learn and share each other. But when they grow up as an adult, they'll have to relearn the communication skills among the adults world. That inside of the adult world, that means the targeting of your child with autism. That my suggestion is target your child's development to the adults, not the social environment with the children together. Well, even if you tried, it won't really work. It won't be really effective because the autistic people, they don't have really strong social skills. They are very, very weak. Even though you try, well, it might backfire rather than encouraging them to go on with communicate with others. Okay. So this is all about the introduction about autism that PonderEd education have that developed.